What's going on, guys? Your boy Amazing. We're back with another video, and in today's video, guys, we're going over the best teams for Festival King coming to global next week. So I wanted to make this video to kind of let you guys know the best teams that King's going to be able to be run on, and the best units you're actually be able to put with him in PvP to actually perform well and do well in PvP. So Festival King, as you guys know, is easily the new best like PvP, maybe even PvE unit in the game too, because of how like stupid he is. Easily the best character in the game at this point, right? And so a lot of people have been asking in my comments, Amazing, what is the best team I should be running for Festival King? So in this video, we're going to be going over a bunch of units, and I'm going to be kind of showing you guys like a bunch of team options you can go with as well. The first character I believe you guys are going to want to run with Festival King is going to be Green Gilther. And the reason you want to run Green Gilther is because of his passive here, increasing allies attack related stats by 7% at the start of every turn if allies in battle are all from different races. So basically what it means is that you're going to want to be running Gilther and King, and then your third slot unit on your team is going to be a character that's not a unknown race and not a fairy race. So we have a lot of options with that, which I'll go over in the video. But let's continue talking about Green Gilther and why he's so valuable for the King team. He provides dissolve for the team, which is really good. If you guys don't know, dissolve, applying the gauge reduction on the enemy, makes it so they can't rush their ult. They have to use cleanse. And then Gilther here having rank up, which is easily one of the best skills in the game, as you guys know. Rank up, increasing the skill ranks of your cards, and then also boosting the damage of your cards in doing that. And then he also has a gauge reduction ultimate here, which will take away the gauge of the enemy just outright. It's not delayed like the original dissolve here. It's actually its own, just instantly takes off the gauge. It doesn't apply a debuff like the dissolve that Gilther has up here, right? But the only thing that kind of sucks with Gilther putting him on the team is his CC, because the CC is not anything too crazy, but the power, like how powerful his passive is, already compensates for the low CC that Gilther provides. Because you could probably run King with like another CC like heavy unit, right, and go first, but you won't be dishing out a ton of damage like you will with a Green Gilther. So that's going to be the two characters I think, like, you know, King obviously, and then Gilther, and then you have a flex unit on the third slot is going to be the main teams we're going to be seeing with Festival King. So the options for the flex slots, we have three options that I think are going to be best flex options. We're going to go with mainly, I'll probably say like both free to play and pay to play routes. First character we're going to have is Margaret. So Margaret can be either a free-to-play or pay-to-play character if you think about it. If you have her 6 out of 6, she's going to be really good. If you have her 1 out of 6, she's still going to be really good because she's going to provide you with the buff here, which this buff is very stupid. One of the best cards in the entire game, removing debuffs from all allies, increasing basic stats, increasing damage dealt, and reducing damage taken. One of the best cards in the entire game, having charge AoE, so you have a secondary DPS on the team other than King, right? And then you also increase Goddess ally basic stats, which will only be her, but still having that increase on the team will make it so she's able to tank better, and she'll able to, you know, keep the sustain for the team. She also has very high CC, which is another, like, you know, good factor about Margaret Ludo, is that she's able to give you a lot of CC for your team, and then also provide you with a really good support, being the damage reduction, damage dealt. And then on the rank 3, it's going to increase basic stats as well, so you get the 5 buffs, 5 massive buffs right there for your team. And then moving on, the next character flex slot we have is going to be the Old Ludo. And the reason we bring Old Ludo, because of his passive right here, which decreases the defense related stats of enemy heroes with a combat class lower than the hero by 40% for 3 turns in PvP. So if every person's running CC food in PvP, if you can out CC with this Ludo, then you're going to be making a big amount of damage with Festival King. Like, I'm telling you right now, lowering the enemy's defense related stats by 40% is a huge margin, because it takes the crit resistance, crit defense, and just like nullifies that completely, and the resistance basically. So you take those 3 stats and take 40% off of it, with the amount of crit chance that Green Gilther is providing with the attack related stats, and then the amount of, you know, crit chance base that King has already being 80%. Having a regular Ludo is a really good character to kind of increase the amount of crits that King's able to provide, and then also dish out a ton of damage. The only thing with Ludo that kind of sucks with him now is he's fallen off in terms of CC. His CC is definitely not the greatest anymore, considering like what they did with this SA6 and all of that. but he's still a really good option, I think, for PvP with King. And because of, you know, the way his passive works and how he can lower the enemy's defense related stats, he's actually going to be a really good third slot unit for the team. The final character I'm going to suggest for the third slot on the Festival King team is going to be Kyo Kusanagi. And the reason you would want to run Kyo Kusanagi is because he got the free-to-play Holy Relic, which actually applies an extra 2 ignites for the team. He's going to be a lot more beefier because of that, because we got the free-to-play relic with his collab, right? He's going to have a lot more CC than he did initially, and I think because of that, and having the passive here where he applies ignites and gets damage reduction, it's going to help as a pretty good support for the Green Gother King kind of combo here we got going. And also, he is a human race, right? As both Ludos being the goddess race, you know, it also works with the Green Gother stacks, being that they're not the same race. But Kyo is a human race, so it still applies the Green Gother stacks. You're not going to run out of those, and the Green Gother stacks are going to be able to provide the damage that Gother has with the attack related, alongside Kyo, you know, ignites applying on the enemy, and then also the damage reduction you get per ignite on the enemy. And Kyo as a support, he's not too bad. He has Blaze AoE, so he's just doing, you know, he's gonna be like a secondary DPS to King, you know, having the code destruction and then the Blaze AoE. And then also, if you're able to get his ult off, which, you know, if you ever do, it applies 2 ignites and then scales per ignite depending on the ult level. So the higher ult level you have on Kyo, the better he's going to be for the team. And I think, you know, after having his Holy Relic being free to play, a lot of people are able to kind of use Kyo and do well with him. So now that we've gone over the main people for the team, which I think these are the main 3 flex units I would say are on the Festival King team, and then you have Gother and King as going to be the main 2 duo right here. You always run those 2 together. So the flex characters are gonna be these 3, and then let's go over the backline characters that I want to suggest for the team. So you have 2 routes you can go with the backline, in my opinion. You can either go full DPS and drop Death Pierce in the backline, or you can go with the CC build and just have the one Esnor in the back, or like Goddess Elizabeth, Purgatory Bond, any character that just has really high CC, you could just slap in the backline. And the reason I want to say that you could either run either of these 2, depending on your set. Like if you're running like an attack crit King, let's say, and you don't mind the CC loss running Death Pierce backline, you can run attack crit King with Death Pierce backline and then just hope you go first, like at that point, right? The difference with this is that Death Pierce as a character, really low CC, I think lower than Green Gother if I'm not mistaken. So he's gonna be a big hindrance in terms of your CC for your team. And if you guys don't know already, going first with Festival King is a priority, man. If you're going first with that guy, you are winning the match. That's why I recommended in my gear guide that you run HP crit on King. So if you're running Death Pierce backline, it's kind of you know, a little risky, but you definitely do get a big increase in damage, because it's just having basically Ludo passive. It's basically having this Ludo passive right here, where you decrease the enemy's defense related stats by 40%. It's basically Death Pierce providing that as a passive in the backline. So if you're running like Margaret Ludo, and you think because she has a lot of CC you can run Death Pierce backline, that's not a bad idea. But I think overall for the general player base, Death Pierce won't be a bad idea, but I do think that having a CC, character in the backline to kind of give you the more CC will be beneficial for a lot of the free-to-play players. And the reason I say this is because having a CC character in the back will help push the free-to-play players to out-CC higher people running Death Pierce backline, let's say. Because the difference between a Death Pierce backline and the 1 Esnor backline in terms of CC is huge. You're probably losing about 5-6k CC with a Death Pierce compared to an Esnor. I'm not saying that Death Pierce hit higher than like I don't even know, like 60k CC. I don't think you can hit higher than that, right? Like that's we could check the CC rankings. Actually, I'll pull it up. All right, so as you guys can see, here's the CC rankings list here to kind of give you guys an idea of who you should be running in the backline. And this is why I recommended the 1 Esnor, because he does have the highest CC in the game, regardless of being King. Is, you know, King is stupid and he has the highest CC in the game. But if we scroll down and we kind of find the characters that are gonna have high CC that you can run in the backline, as a suffice would be probably anything in the top like 10 here. You know, you got like Lost Vein, you have Margaret. Obviously, you're running Margaret on the team. You can run like Zelda's backline possibly. Like if you want to run Kyo on the team, Zelda's backline is actually a pretty good idea. Like if you're running Kyo, Zelda's backline will be very good. You got a lot of like options you can definitely go with. But the main reason we would bring like, you know, the 1 Esnor over Death Pierce, which I was explaining, is because if we keep scrolling down here trying to find Death Pierce, he's going to be a super low CC, man. He's not going to be anything too crazy. And as you guys can see, we have not found Death Pierce yet scrolling down, because his CC is just not it. You know what I mean? He's just not, you know, CC viable as much as he used to be. So if we keep scrolling down here, we're going to eventually find him, hopefully. here we are at a 28,230 cc, already being in the bottom tier SSRs, being beat out by an SR bond. So that's something you got to take into account when running Death Pierce. Like, the value of his passive is very good, right? You know, lowering the enemy's defense related stats by 30%. Basically defense related stats, so you know it's not resistance, but it's crit resistance, crit defense, right? And that's something you gotta take into account if you're running the team. If you have really good CC on your 3 main units and Death Pierce as well, Death Pierce is not a bad character to bring. If you want to suffice and run the 1 SNR backline for CC, if you got an HP defense set, then definitely run the 1 SNR backline or any other CC character you can run. Remember, CC characters, all you have to do for them is just give them HP defense, and any character in the top 10 here I think is a viable option. Any character that's like 31k or higher. If you guys need you know, the CC ranking here, I can give you guys the link in the description for this, but this kind of gives you a gist of the characters that have the highest CC in the game, and will give you an idea of who you should be running in the back for the team. So that's basically it for the team build. If you guys were kind of curious of like what team builds you should be running with Festival King, there's just some ideas that I had. You know, definitely the staples: Green Goat, Third King, and then you have your 3 flex units, I would say. So you got Margaret Ludo, you have Ludociel, and then you have Keo. And then for your backlines, you have Death Pierce if you want to run the, you know, the crit resistance, crit defense lower on the enemy. If you're just running like an attack crit, just trying to do as much damage as you can, but maybe not going first. And then the guaranteed going first will be the 1 SNR backline to have the CC to go first. So that's kind of the options that I've given here. And then also, I mean, another character that I did recommend as well would be specifically for the Keo team would be Zeldris Backline, because he actually increases allies basic stats by 3% for every debuff applied on the enemy, and Keo's going to be applying a lot of debuffs on the enemy, so you're going to be able to max out that Zeldris passive fairly quick considering it's only 8. You're going to have 18% basic stats already just by having the initial Keo, but because of his relic you actually do get an extra 2, making it so you hit the cap on Zeldris' passive there. So you know, you have a lot of options you can kind of do here for flex, and I think it's definitely a really good character right here, Festival King, where you can run a lot of team options and you got a lot of things you can kind of test around with. But let me know in the comment section below how you guys feel about my characters here that I recommend, and let me know if you can be running the CC team, if you can be running the Death Pierce team, if you can be running Margaret, the old Ludo team, you can be running the Keo team. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys can be running, and I'm gonna see you guys in the next video. Peace out and have a great rest of your day.